Hello, everyone. My name is Amy Xiaozhou from Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. Today, I'm going to give you the study about city features impact on home value in Southeast Michigan major cities comparing Detroit. Study up. Now, when we look at the map, if we wanted to settle down in the Metro Detroit area or Southeast Michigan, we always doubt is once we put the money, which city we end up to pick, which criteria will be more important. At the same time, Detroit itself has struggling about all the trying all the method, but the house prices is really hard to get up. So let's use this study to analysis why this happened. So first, I want to introduce. After studying some literatures, I decided, and the data availability, I decided for the following ones: city population, median home value, age of homes, race and ethnicity, diversity, crime rate, public transit, education, and auto insurance rate. In my data, I picked the city from the most of the large-sized and several mid-sized cities in Wayne, Macomb, and Oakland counties. Some other major cities in Southeast Michigan I also included, such as Ann Arbor, Lansing, Grand Rapids. And population for those cities are mostly from about 50,000 to some of them are between 20,000 to 50,000. Median home value in each city are based on the data on U.S. Census Bureau. The homes has four categories. One is the oldest one, and the other ones are newer ones. Race and ethnicity diversity is based on the category in U.S. Census Bureau. Crime rate has a number of the crime rate per 1,000 residents. The data I used is from 2019. Whether they have public transit in education data I selected its rank of all of the 476 cities has K-12 education in Michigan. Auto insurance rate is one of the criteria I'm interested, I'm curious, but I'm not sure because in rental property in Detroit, we cared a lot about the cost for auto insurance. So do the suburb cities. So I picked the most related uh, variables could reflect auto insurance rate as there's no direct data for auto insurance rate is crash unit. The crash unit of the is the total of actual number of motor vehicles and non-motorists involved in crash. And I used the number of the data in the most recent 5 years. Most of the data from the U.S. Census Bureau from 2019 American Community Survey 1 year estimates comparison profile, but they are already summarized in the website Neighborhood Scott, so you can get most of the source from there. And the education data I got from the School Digger, which was released from the Michigan Department of Education. Lower number has the higher rank accordingly. Public transit data can be searched from the Google search bar. Most of the Metro Detroit cities do not have their independent public transit. Those relied on the smart connection. So smart transit website has most of the resources that we need for Metro Detroit suburb cities. If they have the public transit available, you will able to find their name over here. If you can't find the name in this category, they don't have the public transit. Crash units data come from Michigan Traffic Crash Facts. You put your city's name there. On the top left, you're able to see the number of crash units and the number of crashes. Crashes number is the event. So each event happened count as one crash, and the units is how many units involved into the crash, including vehicles and other non-motorized objects. So for example, if you crash on a tree, it just counts for 1 unit. But if you crash as with a pedestrian, or you crash with a motorcycle or a bicycle, then you count for 2 units. If you crash with another car, then you account for 2 units. Vice versa, if you count for you crashed with several, and then you count for several units. My final data include all of these data. Population, median home value, and the crash unit are in 1,000 units. Age of homes, racial and ethnicity, I did not include one of their category to be as a baseline. Crime rate, public transit, and education rank, I already described before. And the home value, we noticed that Detroit has a relatively low value, and Flint have even lower because recently they have the water issue that really become a problem to live in the city. Birmingham has a very high home value rather than even the second highest one, like 396,000. But if you look at the difference, the education rank is relatively high for those cities who has very high home value. And next, I'm going to introduce my analysis. First, I use the distribution of median home value chart to observe the distribution, and I found it skewed to the right. So I decided to use the comparison between linear regression to gamma regression. The median of the distribution for median home value is $162,000. The mean value is $205,000. And if you want to know the probability for each of the value, so you multiplied it by the area and you got the probability. For example, this one you got 2%, 20% of the probability houses will fall into $160,000. Not bad. And then I did the multilinear regression model, and at the start, the AIC value I start from 396, and I have the education rank is the only significant variable at 0.01 level, and I excluded Detroit. I wanted to find if that one, Detroit is an extra case because the home value is very hard to raise. So when I exclude Detroit, the AIC value dropped. And then I use a gamma generalized linear regression that using a identity link to test is not very big improvement. And then I use the log link function. It drops a little bit. The AIC value dropped a little bit. And then when we exclude Detroit, the value dropped even more. And I also did a log. So if you compare that, you will see the big difference. And then pick the best one, the log link gamma GLM model. I did the step function for backward deletion in RStudio, and the AIC value dropped to 360 from the initial 391. And noticeably, the significant variables before did not include a crash unit, but at the end, the crash unit, what I assumed, is significant. And I used the QQ plot, normal QQ plot, find the outliers. I find out Detroit, Flint, and Birmingham, what as my common sense is saying is their outliers. However, the Lansing is exception is an exception that they are outlier is outlier, but if you can see their crime rates, education rank, especially the crash units, is very low. That probably because the Michigan Department of Transportation located there, they have more improvement projects over there, so dropped. But with this better, not bad condition, its house value is very low, pretty good for buyers. But if we compare some similar cities, the East Ypsilanti, the average, the median home value is twice of the prices in Lansing. This is a question that I didn't figure out. We can do the further research, probably because the per house unit area is smaller in Lansing, more apartments than the single houses, which I don't know yet. And later, after we have find the outliers, we did a robust estimation or for two types of model, the multilinear regression and gamma GLM. Oh no, I didn't do the gamma GLM. It doesn't fit for giving the AIC value. I did the including and Detroit and excluding Detroit for multiple linear regression model, and none of them have significant variables for my model and a better AIC, no better AIC too. So I wanted to test the education rank, whether one of the variables we pick, we can generally get the idea about the price trend for the houses. So I picked the most significant for all the models, which is education rank, and it appears pretty linear. And I exclude in Detroit, if you see the red dot, it does not have too much difference. On the contrary, the outlier actually is Birmingham. And I did the geographical correlation matrix with Detroit, also without Detroit. If you take a close look, some circles that are light blue circles around the edge, that it was there, and after excluding Detroit is not there. So assuming that crash unit related to crime, for example, it is because some of the crash is because of the crime. So police was chasing the cars, so it has a crash. So I think when in the suburb there's not that much crime, so not much of a crime related crash. So that dropped down. This is for example. At the same time, if you see the purple square, you will see the crime rate, public transit, and the education rank did not change overall. It's almost a similar trend. So which tells that these are all, I picked the variables are all negative impacts. Public transit a little bit too, but see if they are, because their shapes are smaller, so it has less impact. And we compare the median home value for these without the most. This is with Detroit. Without Detroit, actually, without Detroit, this is without Detroit, and without Detroit, you can actually see at significant level, 0.5 has home value, percentage of African American, Asian crime rate, public transit, and education rank has some correlation with home value. If we raise up the significant level to 0.1 level, and we will find only how percentage Asian crime rate and education rank is significant. And also lastly did the scatter plot of median home value with each variable. If you can see you see that a lot of variables has linear or almost a linear trend, like crime rate, education rank, percentage of African America, but the noise are even are little more than education rank. Education rank has the smallest noise, so it's still the best one that to pick to have some idea about home value, predict some home value. That's all my study. Thank you.